Z of Refurbs. We're on to E. So just going to tell you a little bit about EPCs and what they can tell you. So they're all about energy use and environmental impact, and the government are having a big drive on those at the moment, with a target for 2050, which they're looking to bring in a little bit closer. So it tells you some really useful things. It'll tell you the potential energy costs of running that property. So if, as it stands, you've done nothing to it and you're going to make it a HMO or one where you're going to be paying the bills, it'll give you a rough estimate of what some of the costs are going to be. It'll also tell you what the improvement costs will be to help improve its energy efficiency. So currently, the renting goes from A to G on the scale, and it has to be an E as a minimum for the rental market, and it has to have an EPC to be able to do this. And there are fines in place if you don't have them in place. And so there are talks at the moment about raising that up to a C over the next 10 years. So if you're doing any works on it, now's a great time to be reviewing your EPC and looking at what you can do to move your energy rating up to at least a C. So they last for 10 years once you get them done. Make sure you diarise them, because if you're found to be renting a property and your EPC has run out, there's a minimum £200 fine straight away. So EPC, how it can help you and what it can tell you is how you can improve it and what your costs are likely to be. Two very useful things. So there are some exceptions. So on the EPC, in terms of the improvements, they could spiral out of control. It goes from simple little things like making sure you've got energy efficient light bulbs, but it goes all the way up to things like solar panels and wind turbines and all kinds of things you'd never do with a rental in the private rental sector. So the government website is really, really useful for what you can have as resources for it and exceptions. And it does say that you can have spent up to around £3,500. I'm going to read it because it needs to be clear. I don't want to say it wrong. So the cost cap: you will never be required to spend more than £3,500, including VAT, on energy efficiency improvements. If you cannot improve your property to an EPCE for £3,500 or less, you should make all the improvements which can be made up to that amount, then register an all improvements made exception. So you can do that on the government website. Full details are on there. So you have to get it to an E at the moment. You're going to have to get it to a C. It's likely that £3,500 will go up even further because the government are committed by 2050 to reducing carbon. But you get that exception for 5 years once you've registered one, but you will have to come back to it and have it reassessed. The other great thing that you can use an EPC for is that it'll have the floor space written on it of what the total property is. So you can use that for comparables when you're looking at other properties if you can't find something that's a direct match. If you're trying to work it as an investment property and figure out comparable prices for done-ups or rental values in the area. So that's what EPCs can do for you. Thanks very much.